Wasif, the mic is yours.
Thank you so much, Madam President. Thank you everyone for joining, and for those of you who are making room in their schedules for attending this very special event. My name is Mag. I'm the Cairo Toastmasters Sergeant at Arms, and allow me to share my screen with you to welcome everyone on board and to go through a bit of our what we call the house deals. We don't prefer to call it house rules, we just call it the house deals. So for Cairo Toastmasters, this is our 64th meeting. We were chartered back in 2017, in 18, I'm sorry. And I don't know, do you keep track the was like, how can I spell your club name again? Aachen? Your club name?
Yes, it's Aachen.
Aachen, yeah.
Aachen, yeah. So do you keep track of the numbers of meeting you get, or you don't count?
It should be right above 400. I think 402 or 403.
Oh, perfect. Because you were chartered in 2014, if I remember correctly.
That's right, yeah.
Okay, perfect. So what we are looking for today is, again, to introduce everyone, especially first-timers, about what is Toastmasters International. It's a worldwide nonprofit organization that focuses on the educational part and empowering people to become more effective communicators and leaders, as our great Toastmaster Khalid introduced us, as the whole community worldwide. We do have more than 16,000 for the world. We're within 143 countries with more than 358,000 members worldwide. And for those of you who are not aware of how the international community works, once you become a member in Toastmasters International, you become automatically member on all of these clubs worldwide. So you can join any meeting anywhere in the world. If you're traveling across the world for business, for leisure, for whatever, being a Toastmaster, you can join any club meeting. And now with the technology and the pandemic and everything, becoming a Toastmaster can give you wide doors for you to join other Toastmasters meeting like the one that we have today. In Toastmasters, what do? We do improve your public speaking skills, build your leadership skills in terms of taking leads, initiatives, and being more on the upfront of things, and discovering any kind of potential you have through a program that we call Pathways. And these pathways, they explore any dimension of your character that you want to build, being a motivational speaker, being a leader, being a presentation expert, or even being a theatrical person who gives plays or give acts on stages. We enjoy unlimited personal growth through proper and constructive evaluation by members. In Cairo Toastmasters, we have this golden rule that, and I believe it's everywhere in Toastmasters International, we never judge anyone. You're allowed to make mistakes, you're allowed to go wrong, and we're all here to support you. We work on this huge network that we work together to practice speeches and presentation in group settings and gain a competitive advantage in our workplaces as well, especially that most of us are professionals, either undergraduate or even people with career minds. The main objective of Toastmasters is not to work only on charitable and community services like other international organizations, but mainly is to build your self-awareness and self-confidence aspect. I will let the microphone back to our president once I'm done, to ask you all to open your videos and cameras so we can all see you, because public speaking is all about communicating with body language rather than only audio and visual. And now comes the part where we talk about our house rules or the house deals, which we do not allow any talks about political, sexualities, religion, and we are really intolerant of that kind of conversations. We will not allow you to be disrespectful or speak with profanity languages or even racism and disrespect. If you are logging from a handheld device, please put it either on silent or on do not disturb, so it does not cut you out from the conversation. Or even if you have your mobile next to you, try to make it on silent so it does not disrupt the flow of the conversation. If you're not talking using the Zoom tool, please put yourself on mute so we don't get distracted by the conversations and the noise around you. We can open the floor for whatever you need to discuss or talk about in the chat box. However, we prefer that you don't use the chat box while there is a presentation in course. So if someone is speaking on a prepared speech level or in an evaluation or even in a table topic, please withhold yourself something in the chat box so you don't distract the rest of us. There will be an interior speeches where you can have the conversation between anyone publicly or privately on your chat box. That's it for our house rules. Thank you, everyone. And back to you again, our Zoom master of the day and President Dina. Thank you, everyone. Oh, sorry, before I have to leave, I just want to ask if you got the agenda for today. Please, if you did not, our great Zoom master of the day, Johannes, shared it in the chat box. Would you please share it again, if you don't mind, to everyone, for those who joined late? Johannes, please, if you don't mind. So now you will have the agenda, and I will ask our Toastmaster of the day to walk us through the agenda. Thank you so much. Back to you again, our Zoom master.
Okay, thank you so much, Mag. Good evening, everyone. One more time, thank you so much for joining us. Tonight is going to be a memorable merge between two incredible clubs, Cairo Toastmasters Club and Aachen Toastmasters Club. Did I say that correctly? Yes. Okay, I did not embarrass myself. And we've been looking forward to this partnership for quite some time. So we are glad to be here together as two communities. And I know that our guests are going to really encounter an internationalized, because this is what Toastmasters International is all about, as previously mentioned by Matt, how we tend to bridge the gap and communicate and create solid partnerships with so many clubs from all over the world. And it's beautiful. We work together and we make compromises, and we tend to just get out the best in both clubs and make the most of both worlds. So I know that tonight is going to be a very unique meeting between these two clubs. And I thank our first-time guests for being with us tonight. And I thank our returning guests for showing up again. Now, I did just want to bring up a few things before I hand the mic over to our Toastmaster of the day. First of all, as Mag briefly mentioned, as a public speaking club, we would encourage each and every person present with us tonight to please, please, please turn your cameras on, because public speaking is about our verbal and nonverbal communication. What do I mean by nonverbal communication? Anything other than the words coming out of our mouths, our eye contact, our body language, our vocal projection. We have to be able to see each other to make the most of our public speaking experience tonight. So please turn your cameras on so we can remember your faces, and also so we can adequately interact with one another as public speakers tonight. Also, if you guys would like to volunteer to speak in the impromptu segment of the program, which we call in Toastmasters the table topic section, go ahead and send Rania Leila. Rania, raise your hand. I can't see you on my screen for some reason, but raise your hand. She is our toast. Okay, can anybody see Rania? I can't see Rania. Is she not here, Alia?
She's not here yet, Dina.
Okay, so just to let you know, just make a note of it. Rania Leila, who will join us in just a few short minutes, she is going to be our table topics master. If you would like to volunteer to speak tonight, please go ahead and message her privately so she can kind of add your name onto the list. And we encourage members from both clubs, in addition to, of course, guests. Other than that, we thank you all for being with us tonight, and we look forward to a prosperous meeting ahead. Before we hand the mic over to our Toastmaster of the day, I would like to hand the mic over to President of Aachen Toastmasters Club. Niels, the mic is yours.
Thank you very much. Thank you for the opportunity to have a joint meeting with over 5,000 kilometers meetings. We are from Aachen. Just to give you some context, Aachen is a beautiful city in West Germany. We have about 250,000 inhabitants, and it's very nice there. So when you come to Germany, you should definitely visit Aachen. And it's very nice that we can also use this pandemic as a chance to meet virtually with other clubs, because traveling with Cairo to Cairo would be much difficult in other times. Now we have the opportunity with Zoom, so let's use that. Thank you all. Dina, if you don't have to add anything, then I would directly hand over to Johannes to officially the meeting. Content-wise, Johannes will be our Toastmaster of the evening. So big applause to Johannes for creating this amazing evening. We all look forward to it. Welcome on the stage.
All right, thank you. Before I jump into today's meeting theme or today's meeting, I want to take Mag by his word and introduce the agenda really quick. So at Toastmasters, we usually have an agenda. So a Toastmasters meeting is very structured, and we have two sections in the meeting. The first one is the speech section, where we are going to hear prepared and unprepared speeches. And the second section is dedicated to evaluations and feedback. And I've posted the link to this agenda in the chat. You will get to this slide here because we are in two times. So the timestamps of all the roles differ a little bit between Egypt, and you can just choose which time you to have your times displayed in. So if you're in Cairo, it should now be about 1935. As the topic for today's meeting, I've chosen, and what most people, I believe, associate with life-changing is something like a singular event, something that happens, everything is different. So basically, you're living your life a certain way, then something super significant happens, and then everything changes and everything is great. And indeed, this is the structure of many inspirational stories that we hear. Many times you hear about people who are stagnant in life or who are really not doing well, and then something happens and they change their life forever. And this is a fantastic story. I mean, there are great stories out there and they are really inspirational, but there's also another story, far more common. I have been the main character of that story countless times. And it goes something like this. You're living your life a little bit and it's not great, it's not bad. You just going on with your life and then decide to make a change to your life. Let's just say you want to become fitter and healthier and you start to work out. Usually what happens first is that you make great progress in the beginning. You have the novelty that motivates you, you experience your body in a different way, you get more alert and more productive at work, and everything is fantastic. And then at a certain point, the novelty wears off. And you're still making progress, you know, it's going fine, you're still working out, it's a great, or you have new energy in your life, but the progress slows down a little bit. And then inevitably, you get to a plateau. And sadly, what happens all the time, and this has happened to me, as I said, countless times, is that afterwards follows a regress. And we end up back where we started in the beginning. Now, this is something that happened to me a lot of time. And given how many times I heard that story from other people, I believe that it's something that happens to all people all the time. And it happens around the world all the time. And I believe the main reason for that is that we are thinking about life change in the paradigm that I introduced before, a singular event, and afterwards everything changes. So for today's meeting, I'd like to propose a paradigm shift. Instead of thinking about it as a singular event, like a life-changing event, everything becomes great, why not think about life-changing or life change as a constant process that never ends until our days are over. And Toastmasters is a great place to practice this principle because Toastmasters presents us with a lot of challenges through different roles that can be taken up in a Toastmasters evening. And before we head into today's speech section of the evening, I'd like to introduce or let two people who have taken technical roles for today's evening introduce themselves. And the first person that I'd like to call on the virtual stage and briefly explain her role is the timer of the evening, Ghada El-Sharawi. Please join me in welcoming the virtual spotlight, Ghada El-Sharawi.
Good evening, everyone. Time always flies, but wait, today you are the pilot. And my role today as a timer is to help you to follow up on your given time and remind you with the spent time. So please, if you can, to pin my screen, because I will change my screen with the green, the different color background according to the spent time, like that. So for example, the first segment, the prepared speech, you have from to 7 minutes. So when you reach 5 minutes, I will show you the green card. 6 minutes, show you the yellow card, and 7, I will show you the red one. Then for table topic speakers, you have from 1 to 2 minutes to deliver your speech. So by 1 minute, I will show you green card, yellow, 1.5, red for reaching 2 minutes. Then for evaluation part. For evaluators, for the speakers, you have from 2 to 3 minutes. So 2 minutes, the green card, 2.5, yellow card, and 3, the red card. The Hackmaster, you have from 1 to 2 minutes. So 1 minute, 1.5 yellow, 2 red card. Table topic evaluator, you have from 3 to 6 minutes. So 3, the green, 4.5, the yellow, and 6 minutes. Grammarian, you have from 2 to 3 minutes. So 2 green, 2.5 yellow, and red for 3 minutes. And finally, general evaluator from 3 to 4 minutes. So 3 minutes, green, 3.5 yellow, and 4 for reaching the maximum time, the 4 minutes. But wait, if you didn't finish your speech by the maximum time, you have extra 30 seconds to find an end for your speech. Best of luck for all the speakers, meeting you again at reporting time. Back to Toastmaster of the day.
Thank you very much, Ghada. Just as a quick reminder for everyone, if you want to keep seeing Ghada on the screen and cards when they are changing, you can click on the 3 little dots on her screen and pin her video when you're coming up as a speaker. And with that, you don't lose time or you don't lose track of time. And also, if you forget the speaking time that you have, you can refer back to the agenda that I shared before. The next member of our technical team, if you will, the Grammarian, who will also introduce a word of the evening. And I don't want to spoil anything about that. I will just let him introduce the word of the evening and his role as a grammarian. Please join me in welcoming Jonathan Greipe.
Thank you very much, Johannes. From me, yes, I'm today's grammarian, so I will look for your language, how you use English language, kind of mistakes you maybe make. And of course, I will also look out for the more beautiful side of language. So if you use any nice language, any nice phrases, I will also try to document them and give you some feedback on that. And as Johannes mentioned, I'm also today the word of the evening. So what's the word of the evening? It's a word you should use as often as possible within your speeches. I will count them. And the person who uses it the most is, gets some clapping from me. So feel free to use it as often as possible. So what did I decide on? Life-changing, that's today's topic. And currently I myself experienced a lot of changes in my life because I moved from Aachen to Biberach because I got a new job. And this was kind of a life-changing experience for me. And what I found out was that changes always, well, go along with some fears, because we are used to some regular things in our life, and if there's a change and you found out during work, and pros are always involved, and if I try to change something, then they go up some alarm lights and people are afraid. So nonetheless, I thought something positive, at least they can be, and they should be most of the time. And that's why the word fearless for tonight. You to do that.
Thank you much, Jon. Well then, let's, without further ado, fearlessly venture on into the speech section of tonight's event. So the speeches, the prepared speeches, we have two prepared speeches today by Ashraf and Ashraf.
Thank you, Neil. So can you guys hear me? Can you guys hear me well? Yeah. All right. Let's get right into this. Let me share my screen. Share, yes. There we go. Here we are. So 6 long years. This is something I have been working for ever since I started to make money. And this was in college. I have been working 6 long years to buy my very first nice car. I really, really love cars. This is something I used to do all the time. I know all of the Lamborghinis one by one. I know all of the Ferraris. I know all of the Porsches. I know all of the cars that are luxurious. I know them by heart. And I have always wanted to buy my very first luxurious car. So ever since I started working, I saved up every penny that I could to buy my very first car. So I worked in a lot of different jobs. I worked in air conditioning repair and manufacturing. This was in my college years. I used to work in the summer, so part-time. And after I graduated, I worked in a construction site. And also throughout my last few years in college, I worked in a construction site. And as a ginger in Egypt, working in a construction site was very difficult. Definition of hell. And the workers will be like, "What are you doing, man? What is that on your face? What is that white stuff?" And I'll be like, "Dude, focus on your job. I'm not here to look at me." That was in my construction years. I saved every penny to buy my very first car. Budget to buy the car that I really, really wanted. So this is not a German car. I am sorry. Speech and this topic a Chinese manufacturer, so it is, an international car. So this is the MG6. This is the car that I've been dreaming for a very long time. This is a 180 horsepower beast. Looks awesome. I bought it in the black color that you see right here. And this is something that I've worked long and hard for to get. So one of the things that I really wanted in my car is that I wanted my car to be unique. It's not something that is available on the street all around, like the Mercedes, like the BMW. We all know these cars. We see them all over, and they're very good. But I wanted something that is unique. So this car has been in the market for about a year. It is a very rare car to see in the street. It is something that you don't see a lot. It's been a year and it's not very widespread yet. So I hopped up on YouTube and I kept searching for all of the reviews about the car. I saw everything in Egyptian and in Philippines because the car is very popular in the Philippines for some reason. And I also jumped in the Facebook groups of cars in Egypt and also in the Philippines because, you know, Philippines are very popular with, I don't know Filipino, but I used to translate and use it in order to read what the people say and stuff. So I finally bought my car. But then I look around me in the street and I find the car all over the place. Every time I go to the street or I go to buy something from the supermarket, I see the car. Hey, there it is. It's in white. And then the next day, hey, there it is. It's in red. I see the car over there. What is going on? Has the month that I started researching the car has jumped in sales? What is happening here? Why do I see it everywhere in the street right now? And the reason that I see it everywhere in the street is because whenever you focus on something, you actually start to see it everywhere. It isn't because it wasn't there before, but it's because you didn't realize it was there before. So this is a very interesting topic in psychology or in self-help. That is, whatever you focus on, it grows. Why? Now, let me give you an example. Let's take the color red, all right? I want you to look around your room and find every color, everything that has the color red. You have 30 seconds to do so. Just look around you, everything that is red. All right, did you guys finish? I will assume you have. All right, you have. So yeah, I found 16 items that are red in my room. Did I actually, I mean, I don't like the color red. Why do I have 16 items that are red in my room? This is something I didn't realize before. So your brain sees these items every day, but they do not register. So whenever you focus, now when you focus on this item, you will see it everywhere. So maybe if you go to another room or in the reception of your house, you will maybe see a few items that are red that you didn't realize before. It's not that you haven't seen them, but you haven't processed them. So yes, whatever you focus on grows. So some people, what they do is they focus on the bad things that happen in everyday life. So for example, my car broke down today. I went to my work and my boss said something mean to me. Or I woke up today and my mom said this and this and she made me really upset. So you're focusing on the items that make you upset. But what you don't focus on are the items that make you happy. Like for example, you woke up today and you felt refreshed. This is a good thing. Or you woke up today and you went to work today and a lot of people said good morning to you. And they said, how is your day? That is a good thing. And maybe one of your friends called you up and he said you want to hang out. So this is also a good thing. Do not realize the good things that happen throughout your day. So again, whatever if you focus on the negative items that are available in everyday life, you will see everything as bad and you may go into depression. But if you actually take the time and focus and count the things in your life, you will see there's a lot of good in our lives, and we just don't realize it. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed the speech, and back to the Toastmaster of the day.
Thank you much, Ashraf. What an amazing story, what an amazing speech. And I think having seen what a nice car it is, we can forgive that it's not a German car. And you're also making a great point. I mean, attention is such a powerful force, and it's also fits in very nicely with the theme of the evening, because changing that change requires a lot of attention. Okay, so that means that we are now going to venture on to the second speech of the evening. And the second speech of the evening is going to be given by our Toastmaster from Aachen, Ashika, and her evaluator of the speech today is Ahmed Allah. And I would like to ask Ahmed to come on the virtual stage and explain a little bit what Ashika's project is about and introduce our speaker to us. Please welcome Ahmed.
Thank you, Your Highness, for this amazing intro. I will be with you tonight as Ashika's evaluator. Her project is evaluation and feedback, where she simply present two speeches, and one of them to present the first speech and had the feedback, and then apply that feedback on the second speech. Ashika told me that her personal goal through this project is to look at the camera while speaking and while presenting, and to keep strong connection with the audience by using poses and vocal variety effectively. I will try to focus on that while she's presenting, and I wish her the best of luck. Back to you, Heinz.
Thank you very much, Ahmed. So without further ado, I'd like to introduce to you the next speaker of the evening, Ashika Lanza, with her speech, Queen of the Desert. Please welcome Ashika in the virtual spotlight.
Thank you, Johannes. Can you all hear me? Thank you. It's freaking hot. It's so hot. It must be 45 degrees. Do you guys feel that? It's like your mouth is dry. You can barely see. And my skin is just burning. And if I look off in the distance, I can squint and I can see some goats and camels trudging along. And if I look to the left, I see rubble from broken houses. And if you look to your right, you'll see piles of rocks. It's way too hot out here. And it's an unfriendly climate. I don't know what we're doing in the desert. Suddenly, somebody taps you on the shoulder and stands next to you. It's a woman, and she has a headscarf. And she's young. She's maybe 50 or 60 years old, but you can see that the years have not been kind to her. Somebody sees a camel next to them. Awesome. Her face is deeply lined and her hands are rough. Still, she's warm and she's welcoming. And she says to you, "Hi, my name is Abla, and this is my garden." So you both turn around 180 degrees. Let's all turn around, everybody, in your head. And in front of you, you see this lush garden. And I have to move this because my light is not good. It's 600 square meters of vegetables, fruits, trees, vines, bees, butterflies, flowers, just an incredible scene. There's even mangoes growing there. And her home is covered in vines, which provides a much needed cool breeze. Excuse me. Oh, really needed that. No, this is not a mirage. No, you don't have heat stroke. And this is not a hallucination. This place exists. And off in the distance from here, sorry, it's not Cairo, but off in the distance, you can see Palestine, which is Abla's homeland. She's a refugee. And she has suffered from severe poverty extreme mental illness, and physical disease. Yet, here she is, shining like a healthy, happy, fearless queen of the freaking desert. How is this possible? Abla is a retired teacher, and she loves reading. And about 4 years ago, she got super fed up of her suffering, and she decided to read and learn about self-sufficiency. And the following is why she became one of my heroes, or heroines, should I say. This woman invested months reading whole books about permaculture and circular economy. Please put up your hand if you've heard the word circular economy before, this term. Okay, I see a few people putting up their hands. For the rest of you, we're going to be exploring this concept in a little bit more detail. So my heroine here, Abla, she attended a permaculture course to learn about harnessing the different cycles of nature, water, energy, so sun energy, and nutrients. And then she learned how to implement this and use what she had, which in the desert, to an outsider, looks like very little to nothing. First of all, she started proactively harvesting every single drop of possible. And sometimes where she lives, it doesn't rain for a whole year. Can you imagine that? So by doing this, she could reduce the amount of water that she had to have brought into her, I should say. Then, this is my favorite, she started cultivating earthworms and compost worms. And those worms take her kitchen waste and food waste and convert it into liquid and solid fertilizer that she can use in her garden. Someone's echoing. Thank you. Sorry, I lost my spot. Yes, so not only does it provide fertilizer, these worms do the work for her by putting in trillions of microorganisms into the soil that help convert the old food into usable nutrients for the things that she wants to grow. The next thing is that she continued to feed the soil with extensive mulching. So she basically took sand and then put paper, wood, and old plant materials on it. And then over time, it would suddenly turn into this dark and rich, lovely soil. So she would just take garbage and put it there and turn it into completely useful. And then the next and final step was that she added desert-proof animals to the system, including chickens, of course, the earthworms, and some birds, which she attracted with seeds. And these also control pests, eat veggie scraps, provide eggs, meat, and most importantly, fertilizer for the garden. Abla has not needed to purchase any food from our property in 3 whole months. And she's becoming famous on YouTube. So can I ask you a question? Who is winning the Corona pandemic? Abla is winning the Corona pandemic. And that's why she's my hero. Knowledge of food production and some financial intelligence and technological education means freedom for this woman. And my wish is for everyone in the world to be even 5% more self-sufficient. Let's keep gathering skills and knowledge and keep proactive people around us, because then you can take something seemingly insignificant, make it into a life-changingly magnificent thing. Thank you. More plants. Thank you.
Wow, thank you very much, Ashika. What a captivating story. And of course, you used the plants again. Your story was so captivating, it made me forget for 7 minutes straight that it's still very chilling here in Aachen. And I actually was there with you in the desert. And it's also a great tie-in with the theme of the evening, life-changing, because wow, what a change that woman affected in her life and in the life of many others, I assume. Next, we are going to venture into a part of the evening that is both equally loved and dreaded by many people. And it's the part where we're not hearing prepared speeches, but unprepared speeches. You know, in life, we are not always able to prepare perfectly for everything. And sometimes life calls on us to be spontaneous and be able to perform in the moment. And that's something that you can practice at Toastmasters as well. And I don't want to spoil anything else, but hand over to our great table topic master of the evening, which is Lanya Lela. Please welcome her with me on the virtual spotlight.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster of the day. I just want to check, am I audible?
Rania, I'm so sorry for interrupting. I think before we move into her segment, we should, oh, I'm so sorry. We're not launching the polls. I'm sorry. Please proceed. Forget it. I'm so sorry.
Should I proceed? Okay. Fellow Toastmasters, dear guests, now we are going to start this incredible segment, the table topic section. In this section, we improve the art of improvisation fearlessly and improve the impromptu speaking, how to think on our feet. I will call on some members and guests as well to talk about a topic or an idea for a minute or two. So please, I really appreciate your participation in this section. So let's see. Any volunteers? I have a name here to start with, Ahmed Salhan. Are you there? Hello?
Yes, I'm here.
Hi, how are you, Ahmed?
How are you? Doing great, alhamdulillah.
Alhamdulillah. Okay, let's get started.
Okay.
Can you see my screen now?
Yes.
Okay, here is the first topic. Please tell me 10 ways to cope with change.
Okay. It's very nice to speak to all of you today.
Okay. I have to.
Yes. Before I read many things about change, okay, the most benefit thing for me was Kerr model. Okay, it was very nice because it gives us the steps how we can transfer to something from the current state to new state. The most important thing that you can have fearless from something you are very good, okay, or you have something very bad and you need to keep away of this, okay. Outcome steps starts from awareness. You need to gain awareness about need to change from current state to desired state, okay. Second one, you need to have a real desire, okay. And finally, you need someone to coach you, give you the real knowledge, how you can transfer from one place to another place, okay. And after that, you need something to give you a reinforcement, to give you power, to give you the ability, okay. And you feel. The last one, in outcome model, you have something called reinforcement. You need a group like you, like very nice Toastmasters today, to encourage you to speak, to encourage you to speak without any fear, and to mention the word fearless. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for your incredible answer. I was writing after you. That was so inspiring. Thank you. Any other volunteers? Okay. Mo? Mo? Okay, Mo. Hello, how are you?
Yes, hello. Hi.
Nice to see you.
Lovely to see you.
Awesome, thank you. Now here is the change of plan. Have you ever changed your plans for life, and why? If your answer is yes or no, just tell me the reason, please.
Yes, life is full of surprises, and then you plan something with all the intention of the world that you want to achieve it, and you work hard on it. but those roles could change for some reason or the other, and you have to adapt yourself to the new plan. So maybe the prime example is what happened with the coronavirus. So people had plans, and they planned for really, really huge objectives. And when they had this coronavirus, you had no options to change plans. So some restaurants that were open to business, and then they had to close, but they thought about other plans and they had to change the plan to start a new business with takeaways, for example, to adapt themselves to the new situation. So yes, bear in mind that when something happened, yeah, or you can always change the plan as long as you think about it. Think about the end in mind, which is the result where you want to be, and it will be achievable, and you will succeed in your life. Thank you.
Thank you so much for your inspiring answer. Thank you, Mo. Any other volunteers? Hassan, okay. How are you, Hassan?
Hi, Ronnie, how are you doing? I'm
That's
good.
great, thank you. When someone says you have changed, it simply means you have stopped living your life their way. How do you see this statement? You're saying?
Okay, when someone says you've changed, it simply means you've stopped living your life their way. Yeah, you know, this statement reminds me that sometimes people put you into some frame or some box, and they expect you to always behave, and that's very, very stifling. It's really stifling. It's limiting your freedom. And in order to escape that prison, you need to be fearless. So the first step is to be fearless, and then you have to have agency for your own life. You have to remember that you are the only one who will end your life, who will live your life till the end, and no one is responsible for anything that happens to you except you yourself. So that's why it's very important to have agency for your life and to take full responsibility for everything. I read once in a book that there is a difference between taking responsibility and fault and being faulty of something. Even if something is not your fault, you have to be responsible, take responsibility of it, because your response and your reaction is always in your choice. I read a book by a psychologist with the name of Viktor Frankl. He was talking about how he survived the Holocaust. Of course, the Holocaust was not his responsibility, but he said that the last freedom that everyone has is his own reaction to any situation. So at the end, I would say that agency is the key to living fearlessly. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Hassan, for this powerful answer. And I recall I want to quote this quote from Brian Tracy book, Self-Discipline, when he say with his just incredible voice, you are responsible. Yes, it's really true. Thank you so much. Any other volunteers?
Me.
Macro, please help me. Hajar.
مشروحي هاجر.
Okay, thank you so much for your help. How are you?
I'm good, and you?
Great, thank you. Now let's share this. Yes. When a woman says what, it's not because she didn't hear you. she is giving you a chance to change what you say. Is this true? How you say, or how you see, how do you agree with this statement?
When a woman says what's I find this a particular characteristic in like many girls in my class. They just like want you to say they just want you to say what oh, sorry.
Rania, unmute yourself.
Thank you, Gina. You're always a helper, by the way.
You looked so funny, you know, you're trying to say something, but we can't hear anything.
I forgot it, by the way. I just forgot it. Okay. Hajar, are you there? Okay. Any other volunteers? I just want to pick Nurhan. Are you there, Nurhan? I like this phrase, like family bond.
Oh, yes. Yes, this is my mother, this is my father. Yes. It's our first time to attend. First Toastmaster.
Well, just listening now.
I'm very glad to have you here.
Thank you.
Incredible.
Thank you so much.
Okay. You want to participate?
Sure, sure.
Okay.
Yes.
Now let's see. Where were we? We were, yes. Hey, what is the connection between the lizard and the change?
Ah, yes. I think when you say lizard, the first lizard that popped in my head was the chameleon. The chameleon is known for its great characteristic in changing. When it's on a green plant, it turns green, and when it's on a brown plant, it turns brown, which is a great thing actually to be in today's world, because we live in a world that is always changing, and nothing is constant. The only thing is constant is change, which is very funny because it's actually vice versa. So in order for a person to live in a world full of change, that person needs to be brave and fearless, and always hope for the best and try their best in order to have a life that will eventually lead to peace and happiness and love. So the lizard for me is always the constant change in today's world. Thank you. Thank you.
Rania, unmute yourself.
Okay, I'll repeat this again. Thank you so much, Nurhan. That was very impressive. God bless you and bless your family as well. Thank you. Okay, who's gonna volunteer? How much time do I have for this segment? The timer, Ghada?
We reached the end of the table topic.
Okay, the Toastmaster of the day. How much time do I have?
I would say you have time for one more. I think we are 3 minutes behind schedule, but I think if it's going to be 5, it's going to be 5.
Oh, okay. Thank you so much. So, any other volunteers? Amal. Hello, Amal.
Hello.
Hi.
Good evening.
Good evening, dear. Now let's see. Does the concept of change always work?
Does the concept of change always work?
Mike is yours.
All
I'm
right.
not gonna mute you myself. I'm not gonna mute you.
Okay. Change, I think, is something that happens whether you want it or not. I think as we are going through time, we have no choice to age. We will age anyway. Our choice is to grow. I don't really believe that people can change. People can only learn and grow. And that's what may result into their change, or what people may view it as change. But the truth is that they are choosing to grow, or else they'll just be aging. And there's something out of control. So instead of thinking that this is what's out of my control, they're trying to control facelifts, makeup, whatever. Instead, put that energy into something that you actually can control, into your own growth, by learning more stuff, by trying to change your behavior, practicing more. Let's look at what I am doing wrong and try to make it right. That may sound as a change. You're growing, learning, you're putting an added value to yourself and to the people around you. They may view it as change, but I can only see it as growth. Thank you, Rania.
Thank you. Let me check. Yeah, thank you so much, Amal, for your response and your answer. Lofty and profound as usual. And thank you all for this incredible and inspiring answers and ideas. I really have inspired by lots of things from all of you. And yes, change is inevitable after all. And we have to adapt ourselves and be flexible enough to meet all the difficulties of this life. Thank you so much. And back to you, Toastmaster of the day.
Thank you so much, Rania, for those wonderful table topics. Wow, what great stories we heard. And, you know, when we are a Toastmaster for a while, we tend to forget how daunting it is to be put on the spot and having to talk just in the moment without any preparation. And I can recall countless opportunities where I profited really a lot from practicing table topics at Toastmasters. So thank you very much for this great table topic session. Then let's venture on to the next section of the evening, the evaluation section. You know, many of you might be familiar with the quote, the best time to change your life is now. And, you know, if we think about it in the paradigm of that change is inevitable and constant and all the time, then changing your life now is very daunting, because what is life if not a very, very, very long series of nows? And I'd like to relax that statement a little bit and say the best time to change your life is when you're too certain that you have it all figured out. And a great way to be shown that this is the case is to get feedback. And this is what the second part of the evening is all about. We are now going to hear feedbacks from our evaluators for the prepared speeches and for the table topic speeches and on some specific speaking topics. And the first evaluator that I want to call on for today's meeting is the evaluator of Ashraf's speech. And this evaluation is going to be given by Niels Kröll. Please join me in welcoming Niels on the digital stage.
Thank you, Johannes. Okay, there's still one person not muted. Maybe can you just... Okay, fine. Thank you. 6 years in the making. This was the speech of Ashraf, and I really enjoyed it. And we all have experienced what a motivating and dedicated person Ashraf is, and we also have seen that in his speech. What I really liked is that you are a very motivated speaker and have presented your speech with very high energy. So it was very fun and also very encouraging to listen to you. Also, you presented us great storytelling skills, and you connected your own experience with working for the car and working in the construction industry with the overall big picture on selective attention. Also, what you asked me to focus on, you had a very strong connection to the audience. So I was very focused on your speech, and you had a strong eye contact and also a very good interactive part. I really liked that. There are 3 points that I would suggest you for improvements. The first point I will call start with why. You explained us in detail how much you really wanted this car. I would like to see get one step deeper and tell us, okay, why is this car so important to you? So what value does this car bring to you? Was it a childhood dream? Why do you especially want to have that car? And then in this way, we can better relate to your speech, but you also did that quite well at the beginning. The point is modulation of intensity. So you're a very high energetic speaker like that, but if you consider like a plot of your intensity, it was also always on the max intensity, and that also made it a little bit demanding to listen to your speech. What I would suggest is that you use the high energy and the high motivation that you have, that you use that more selectively to highlight individual parts of your speech. So have to have a very high intensity and then calm to give us a little more difference and also to highlight different sections of your speech. And the third point is conclusion. At the end, the beginning was rather abrupt. I think it's always a good idea to end with a summary or a conclusion and to summarize your whole speech. This is one way to improvement. Overall, I really loved the interaction with the audience. So the 30 seconds where we had to look for red colors, and this made your speech very interactive and very fun. And also you provided us very valuable content and a very important point with the selective attention. To conclude, you are already a very fearless and very speaker, and you showed us that you are well able to combine storytelling with the valuable content you have for us. There are 3 points to improve. Motivation, start with why, modulation of intensity, and conclusion. I really look forward to hearing your speech maybe once more again, and thank you for presenting. Now back to Johannes.
Thank you very much, Niels, for the detailed evaluation of Ashraf's speech. And I'd like to point out to our guests as well, feedback is really an integral part of masters, and evaluations are as well, like the presented evaluations in our meetings. And I can tell you, giving a good feedback is at least as difficult as delivering a good speech, and that is something that we practice here as well. The evaluation of the second speech is the speech of Ashika, and Ashika's evaluator is, without further ado, please welcome Ahmed Allah on the stage as the evaluator of Ashika's speech.
The Queen of the Desert, a fearless woman who challenged the difficulties that she had and faced in her life differently and self-sufficiently. What a great story that Ashika chose for her speech and her project. As a human, I have a soft spot for refugees, and I think we all. Ashika won my heart once she said that Abla was a refugee, which helped in establishing some connection that she tried to maintain through her speech by using her vocal variety. And I noticed that she tried to use some pauses at the beginning of her speech. However, she turned into a quite fast pace for the rest of her speech. In a nutshell, she managed to use her vocal variety throughout the speech, but in a quite fast paced. So I suggest to have less points to talk about next time, and that would give more great effect on her vocal variety. That would be noticeable on her speech. Ashika used some names of the courses and something that helped Abla in her journey, and these words need some explanation for me. However, she was able to deliver the whole picture, which was good. Ashka were able to maintain a good camera contact, but I noticed she were periodically looking at the left corner of her screen, and that was noticeable but not disturbing. Regarding the structure, and finally regarding the structure, I liked how she put her speech in terms of the structure, starting with a hook to draw the picture of the story of the desert. And I suggest next time you go into your speech directly without talking back to the Toastmaster of the day. I think it's kind of difficult, but it would help much more to hit us with your speech directly. Then after the hook, you gave us an introduction about the main character of your story, which is a fearless refugee, which was one of your life model, I guess. And then she explained why she was her life model, one of her life models. The only thing that I suggest that next time you determine what points that you would talk about. You talked about a lot of points about Abla's life, but we weren't able to keep track of which point or where we now. So I suggest that you would say that they're the main three things that she did in her life that would amazing or amazed me or something like that. That was a great speech. From my point of view, I really enjoyed it, and I am looking forward to hearing a lot more from you. Thank you. Back to you, Toastmaster of the Day.
Thank you so much, Ahmed, for this encouraging feedback. I love the word camera contact because I've always thought, you know, in a Zoom meeting, it's not technically eye contact, because when I'm looking directly at you, I'm actually looking at a little light on the top bezel of my laptop. So thank you for this great encouraging feedback. And, you know, one of the things that is so great about feedback is that you are told things that you didn't notice yourself while you were speaking. I'm sure I'm doing some subconscious things that I'm not aware of that are hampering my speech performance. And when this is especially frightening is when you're put on the spot and speaking spontaneously. And this is why it's important to get feedback on the Toastmaster, on the table topics as well. And today's table topic session is going to be evaluated by our Toastmaster, Dwi in the virtual spotlight.
Thank you very much, Johannes. And last week we had also a joint meeting with other German Toastmasters, and they called their evaluator as appreciator, which I think really is great words. And that's also my first appreciation goes to Rania for preparing these wonderful table topics. Thank you very much, Rania, for your PowerPoints, for the nice questions that you asked us today, and also the way you ask people, how are you today? I really like it, appreciate it so much. Thank you. And my appreciation goes also to all table topic speakers. That's Ahmed, Mo, Hassan, Mahrouki, Nurihan, and Amel. Wonderful. I was really impressed that you didn't take a second to answer all those questions.
Sorry for interrupting. Sorry for interrupting us, but we can't hear you clearly. So could you please?
I realize it now.
Yeah, okay, thank you.
Yeah, sorry about that. Do I need to repeat, or did you hear
I think you
a
need
little
to repeat.
bit?
I think you need to repeat. We didn't hear anything.
Okay, then I will repeat everything. Thank you.
Sorry for
Yes,
that,
so
but,
what I said is no worries, no worries. My mistake, my bad. And I always put it back. So, Rania, my big appreciation to you. Thank you very much for preparing this table topic speech with all your PowerPoints and the nice questions. And I also really appreciate the way that you ask each of the table topic speaker, how are you today? I really love it. Thank you for that.
And also my appreciation goes to all the table topic speakers, Ahmed, Mo, Hassan, Mahruhi, Nurihan, and Amel. Very impressed that you didn't take a second to answer all of those questions, which I think it was a long set, and you just start right away. In Aachen, we had these rules that each table topic speaker has 30 seconds to think. I'm not sure how is it how you do this in Cairo, but you didn't take that 30 seconds, so very good. And also even at least 2 of you, if not 3, I can count Ahmed and Mo, you include the words of the evening, fearless, in your table topic speech. Thank you for that, because I know this is not easy to spontaneously take the words of the evening in your table topic speech. My suggestion in general, not only for these table topics, not only for the table topic of master and the speakers tonight, is food for thought to organize the table topics differently, especially when there are like 40 people in this meeting. Amazing, love it. We did table topic sessions in a breakout sessions in order to accommodate as many people as possible to talk in table topics. So that would be my suggestion for next time, especially when you have a joint meeting where it is traditionally, if we have joint meetings, we do have a lot of participants. So it would be something to think about, that you take 3 or even 4 table topic breakout sessions to accommodate as many people as possible. Another suggestion for the table topic speakers is to take a break so that you don't have to use a lot of field words. And that's also something that is really difficult when you have to speak spontaneously, then you think the time you speak. A lot of field words are used, like okay, and so on. We will also have the R counter probably later, but I'm not sure if that roles is filled, so that I also say here that some of you use these field words quite a lot. So the last appreciation is going to Nurihan. I really love it to see you and your family, the whole of you. Appreciate it a lot. So thank you very much, and back to the Toastmaster Johannes. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dwi. Yeah, we've seen sometimes, especially in the Zoom meetings, technical difficulties happen, but we showed great flexibility to the new situation, just in keeping with today's theme of changing or life changing and staying flexible to adapt to change. And in keeping with that, I would also like to announce a little change to the agenda, because Wala informed me that she might have to leave the meeting early. So we will do the Hark Master before. So we will draw the Hark Master to now in the agenda. And yeah, without further ado, I'd like to introduce our Hark or Quiz Master of the evening, Wala Atman.
Thank you, Johannes. Now, when you just think that school time is over, think again. The teacher throughout the meeting, listening to everything you said, and I selected some questions, and I'll be asking you. So feel free to unmute and jump right in whenever you know the answer to any question. I'll try to be lenient here. See? I'm not trying to be that condescending type of teacher. Nah, not me. So starting with the first question. Where is it? When did Ashraf start working? Before or after graduation? Unmute, everybody.
Before graduation.
Before.
Wonderful. How long did it take Ashraf to save up for the
6
car?
years.
6 years.
Wonderful. Great listening skills. What type of lizard did Nurhan mention? See what I'm doing there?
Chameleon.
Awesome. I'm not going by orders. See? That's a tricky one. Teachers do that all the time. They do it as change, but Amal always sees it as
growth.
Awesome. Were there mangoes or bananas in Ashika's garden?
Mangoes.
Mangoes, good job. Now, where was Abla from?
Palestine.
Palestine.
Beautiful. And who's winning the pandemic?
Habla.
Beautiful. Now, according to Mo, true or false? See, different question types, yeah, for different intelligent types as well. True or false? In the coronavirus or during the pandemic, we cannot change the plan.
False.
We can.
False.
False. Wonderful. In the pandemic, we have no option but to change our plans. According to Hassan, you need two things in life. Complete.
Adaptability?
Agency.
No? Hassan.
Agency.
I can't answer myself, you know, like that's.
And fearlessness. Wonderful listening skills, people. Now, this question is not related to listening, but I'm going to ask you one last go. Nurhan's family are guests. Nurhan's family are members. Nurhan's family are wonderful people.
Wonderful people.
Wonderful
Wonderful
people.
people. Thank you. Thank you, everybody. Great listening skills. It was wonderful having to listen. Wow, I lost my words. See, that's what happens when teachers speak for so long. Back to you, Johannes.
Wow, thank you so much, Walla. That was a very lovely Quizmaster session, and I loved effort into it. You have even prepared a little sign behind you, I see. And yes, there it says the Hagmaster. Yeah, that's a really, it's an underestimated role because it's so important to also practice our attention skills, and you know, recalling everything that we learned during the meeting is also a great thing to do after a meeting or to do towards the end of a meeting. So the next evaluator that I'm going to call upon has paid very close attention to our language. And he also advised the word of the evening in the beginning of the evening. And thankfully, we have heard a lot of fearless people using the word fearless a lot. And I'd like to call Jonathan on stage for the report of the Grammarian.
Thank you much, Johannes, for calling me on stage. Yes, I listened closely to what you were telling, and I have to say your English, well, everyone's English is very, very good. So it was very hard for me to find even the slightest errors or mistakes. But nonetheless, I tried to listen very closely. And I think, but I'm gonna start with something positive. So what I noticed that a lot of new words were created, I think due to the video communication that we have right now. So I think Johannes mentioned it, like camera contact, virtual spotlight. So those are some new words I haven't heard before, but I think they will become more common. And I really like these new words and how people come up with them. So keep on doing that. And maybe get to the fearless part now. Yes, people were using the word fearless. At the beginning, I was kind of, oh, are people really going to use it? Johannes used it, I think, 3 times, and well, he got his level up in the end where he used it quite a few times now. But the winner actually was or is Hassan. So he used it quite often in the table topics. So yes, an applause for that. Thank you very much for using the word fearless. Yes. And now I want to come to the grammar, which is actually my job, which I should have listened to closely. What I found out, or what I want to give you a short conclusion of what I found out, was that sometimes the articles like a, an, and the, they were left out. An example, current state to new state, the change from current state to new state. For me, it would be a change from the current state to a new state. So maybe you can watch out for that. Another thing which I saw or which I heard was that at some points the prepositions were left out. So example would be I read a book about how, and the about was left out. So maybe you can look out for that as well, like prepositions. For another thing which was quite interesting was when stories were told. So in stories, there were some kind of time changes. And when those changes happened at the beginning, there was some struggling. So for example, if you changed from present tense to past tense and back to tense, there was some kind of struggling with that. So that the first sentence, which had to be like in the present tense, was still in the past tense. So maybe you can watch out for that as well. What I surely found very interesting, that the least problems were like with adverbs. So so if some word was going to be connected to a verb, so people didn't struggle. That was a quite interesting thing for me. And yes, as I learned today, like in the news, I think in Cairo you use it a lot. Back to you, Johannes.
Thank you very much for that report, Jonathan. Yes, so you already see, if you haven't been at Toastmasters a lot, we give a lot of feedback at Toastmasters. We have all kinds of different roles for feedback, and Jonathan's role today was to evaluate our language. And by the way, Toastmasters is also a great way to practice a foreign language. I was not nearly as fluent in English when I started Toastmasters, and it's a great way to practice. So the next evaluator, or the next role taker of our agenda, is someone who has been working tirelessly the entire evening. Everyone who was already saw her all the time, which is the timer of the evening. And today's timer is Ghada El Sharawi. So please welcome her for the timer report of the evening.
Thank you so much, Johannes. Hello again, and the time for the report. I will start with prepared speech. The first speaker, 7 minutes 30 seconds. Ashika, 6 minutes 52 seconds. Then table Ahmed Sarhan, 1 minute 37 seconds. Mo, 56 seconds. Hassan, 2 minutes 13 seconds. Mashruni Hajar, 30 seconds. Nurhan, 50 seconds. Amal, 1 minute 20 seconds. Evaluation Niams, 2 minutes 53. Ahmed Alaa, 3 minutes 6 seconds. Table topic evaluator, 3 minutes 2 seconds. Hackmaster Wala Osman, 2 minutes 26 seconds. Grammarian Yuntan, 3 minutes 20 seconds. Thank you. Back to Toastmaster of the day.
Much, Ghada. Yes, I realize we are a little bit after time, but I hope you're okay with it. I think we are about 6 or 7 minutes behind schedule, but yeah, sometimes it's okay to just go a little bit over the schedule and have an additional table topic. And for the last evaluator of the day, this is something that blows the minds of our guests that are the first in Aachen all the time, because we don't only give feedback to our speakers and table topic speakers, we also give feedback to our evaluators. So the last person to evaluate on a Toastmasters evening is the general evaluator, who is going to evaluate the evaluations and everyone who hasn't gotten a feedback yet. And today's general evaluator is Alia Attia. So please welcome her on the virtual stage.
Al-Khair, guten Abend, good evening to you all. Let me see here your feedback before I delve into the report. Who is enjoying the meeting so far? Thumbs up, party reactions, hearts, whatever it is. Awesome, I see my screen filled with thumbs ups. That's awesome. No need for evaluation report then, right? My voice. All right, so let's get this ball rolling. Apparently I'm supposed to be evaluating evaluators, and this was the most part where I lost my internet connection and I had to turn off my video for that. But no worries, life-changing events happen. Starting off with our Toastmaster of the day, Johannes. What an amazing theme, illustrated by a graph moving in front of our eyes through a PowerPoint slide. That is amazing. I really loved it. And I really loved how you actually incorporated the agenda instead of being displayed in a Word document or PDF file into a link with time zone conversions. That is, of course, very practical for guests here joining from different parts of the world. So that was amazing. You kept the flow of the meeting so smooth, and you were really relaxed while doing your role as if you were prepared to do this role every single meeting, which is awesome. Things to improve is to perhaps engage the audience members more, drop in a question of a life-changing event, for example, from some of the guests here, have the chat box being more and the interaction going a bit more throughout the meeting. But other than that, even if we are a little behind schedule, time is not everything. And I'm sure with all the thumbs up here we got in the beginning so far, that's amazing to hear. Moving on to the grammarian, which is Jonathan. Jonathan, first of all, congratulations for stepping in pretty much last minute for your role. So that was something you did fearlessly, and it's amazing to see that. You used a simple word of the day, matching with the theme of our meeting, which is also amazing. A small suggestion, though, is to display the word of the day on screen, see it visually in front, and to perhaps choose a more challenging word, because we all pretty much know what fearless means, correct? So maybe something a bit more challenging would have made it more spicy, but thank you for stepping in and contributing with your beautiful grammarian role. Moving on to our timer, Ghada. You had it beautifully prepared with the virtual backgrounds of green and amber and yellow and everything and red, and let's not use but. And you show a lot of passion for the timer role each and every time you do it. However, a point for improvement there could be to continue the color signal as you go till the end. So for example, when the speaker reaches green, continue displaying the green card, go on to yellow and then continue. I know this is a bit tiring, but that's where virtual backgrounds fit in beautifully in that. And to also sort of more briefly introduce your role in the beginning, instead of mentioning how much time each role player has to deliver the speeches and evaluations, etc. You can just say, when speakers and evaluators have reached their minimum time, I'll be displaying the green card as you are right now. And then moving and as you reach the maximum time, displaying the red card, and that's it, just to save time throughout the meeting. All right, Master, right? You love this role and you're famous for this role, my dear. You displayed it beautifully through a PowerPoint presentation, matching the theme, which is life-changing. And I felt that you did not want your session to end. When you asked the timer in TMOD how much time I have left, and they told you like one more or that's it, you're like, really? So I feel for this role from your side. However, a small point for improvement is to perhaps gather all the volunteers in advance before the session, just in time. So then when it comes to the table session, you know immediately who to call to contribute in the session. The red card, thank you, Ghada. And to perhaps start off with a member before guests, so a member from Germany or Egypt, and then guests afterwards. Our operators, that's where my internet connection decided to say bye-bye, and I had to switch off my video. But what I noticed is that you were suggesting that speakers sort of have more camera contact, but you guys did not have more contact. So that's an improvement there for myself, as well as to have more camera contact with a lens. Our Hark Master did a great job as well. No specific comments regarding the TTA Evaluator. It's great that you noticed there is a problem with the mic, so you managed to get that resolved. But I would have preferred if you've given brief feedback, 1 point of improvement, a point to mention for each of the table topic speakers instead of generalizing for all. But I'm so proud. I'm so happy to be with you all today from around the world. And it gives me great to be your GE. And yes, we are running after. So back to you, our TMOD, and with a group photo would be great as well.
Thank you so much, Alia, for your feedback. Okay, then I would suggest that we do the group photo now. Do you have someone who's the responsible for that at Cairo Toastmasters? I see Mag is talking, but you are muted. Okay, maybe let's move on first. So I will conclude the evening. So I see Meg talking again. Do you want to say something because you're muted?
I think he's talking to somebody else. You're okay.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. I thought about the evening. So
Johannes, I can take it if you want. I can take it.
I'm sorry, I wasn't listening.
I misinterpreted it. So Ashraf, thank you for taking the photo. Then we are going to take a little group shot. Everyone who doesn't want to be in the photo, who doesn't feel photogenic at the moment, please turn off your camera, and everyone else, please turn on the camera and a very nice smile.
Yes. Big cheese, guys. A big piece of cheese right in front of you. All right. Cheese, cheese, cheese. All right. Thank you, guys. Back to you, Johannes.
Thank you so much, Ashraf. Okay. Yeah. And also thank you for everyone who took a role today, because, you know, you realize most how much Toastmasters is about the participation and the engagement of everyone when you're the Toastmaster of the evening, because you're partly responsible for finding everyone for the role. Truly, truly grateful for everyone who took a role today and who made this evening so lively. And to conclude this evening, I'd like to tell you a very crazy story, which happened to me yesterday and two days ago. No, yesterday, Wednesday. Yeah, yesterday it happened to me. No. I might have made a career-making scientific discovery, and did that while preparing an argument that you shouldn't focus on those life-changing moments, but should rather view life as a process of changing your life all the time. So my life undercut my argument in the process of preparing this evening. But still, even with that happening, I would maintain that it's important to not focus on finding these singular events that change our lives and waiting for it all the time. It is important to keep engaging with life and being change in your life. And you know, it can be frustrating to it's always a struggle to make change in your life, but why not embrace the world for what it is and just keep changing with it? And with that, I'd like to thank you, Toastmasters Cairo, for your hospitality, and I'd like to give back to our presidents, Dina. Thank you so much for participating.
Go ahead, Niels, take it away.
Yes, thank you very much, Johannes, for this amazing evening. I think it was a pleasure for all of us. We enjoyed it a lot, and this was I always love joint meetings, but this was very special. I really enjoyed it. So many people, so many input. I really enjoyed it. Before we have so many guests that we can't get feedback from all, I will just select at random 3 persons. The first one will be from Aachen. It's Lucy. How did you like our evening?
Yeah, hello again. I hope you can hear me.
Yes.
Yeah, thank you very, very much for this nice evening to everyone who presented or was taking part in the role. As it was my first experience, this was very interesting to see, and I really, really enjoyed it. I think I will come back the next times that you meet in Aachen, and I hope to also maybe in another joint meeting. And I think you can also visit other Toastmasters meetings, right? So
yes, you can.
Possible to just maybe take a look. Yeah, thank you very much. And until the next time, then I say.
Yes, thank you very much for being just for all the people from Germany, or also the people from Cairo. You're all welcome to join us in Aachen. We meet on Tuesday, German time. The second guest I would like to interview is from, I think it's Cairo, Nurihan, if I pronounce it right. How did you like the evening?
Yes, thank you, Niels. It's a lovely evening and very welcoming, especially to my family. They are very thrilled to be here. And yes, it is all 3 our first time, and for sure we'll continue. to engage and to think of the new topics and to see you lovely and how people are so friendly. So I'm so happy and hope to continue. See you soon again.
Great. Thank you very much for these kind words. Great that you joined us. And I would love to get feedback from more, as I will focus myself on one last person. I see we have one from Korea joining us. So JJ, I assume it's pronounced. Can you introduce yourself and how did you like our evening?
Thank you, Mr. President Nis. Invited by Craig Curtis, and his name goes by Kurt. Anyway, he left the meeting, I see, and I like this meeting. And in Korea, as you can see banner behind me, I'm also the club president in Seoul, and I was organizing lots of joint meeting country for Korea, Indonesia, Philippines, some other countries in this region, and because we are sharing very close time difference, so that's how I organize it. And I love to see other clubs in other regions having joint meeting. Cairo, Aachen, it's awesome, and I liked it and enjoyed your meeting pretty well. Thank you.
Great, thank you very much. It's very interesting, very cool to see that we are spread over multiple continents. Before I hand over to Dina for the final words, I really like to want to thank Dwi and all the people from Cairo who made this joint meeting possible, and also Johannes for the great organization. There were a lot of people involved in the background, and I surely named not all of who made this joint meeting possible. So thank you all for giving us this opportunity to have this international joint meeting. And now back to Dina for the final words. Thank you.
Thank you so much, President Niels, and thank you so much, Johannes, for this beautifully conducted meeting. Thanks to each and every member and guest who contributed beautifully to tonight's meeting. I think everybody, especially our first-time guests, were so fearless in the most beautiful of ways, sharing their stories with us on stage. So thank you so very much for attending with us tonight. Now, if you guys want to continue attending with us in the future, make sure to follow us on Facebook, follow our social media platforms, so you could kind of be up to date with our upcoming meetings. Cairo Toastmasters Club usually meets twice a month. What about you guys? Niels, how many times a month do you meet? Twice as well?
And we meet 4 times a month. So every Tuesday we meet, and so every second day is German and English alternating, yes.
Okay, so just follow us on our social media platforms just to kind of familiarize yourself with both club schedules. We would love to see you guys once again virtually in the very near future. Once again, thank you so very much, everybody, for this life-changing blast. Forward to seeing all of you again very, very soon. Have a good night.